While I resonate with that feeling, unfortunately, it's who we've always been, because remember that the victor gets to write the history and make themselves the hero. Even when it comes to things like the files, this is James Hammond, who was the governor of South Carolina after the 1842 election, and even when it became known that he was having an affair with all four of his nieces, the youngest being 13, well, they made him senator instead of getting rid of him out of political office. So it's really important that we learn real history about America. We learn who we truly are so that we can build something better for the future, starting with A True History of the United States by Daniel Cherson. This is Indigenous Peoples, Racialized Slavery, How Capitalism Has Been Used to Control Us and Maximize Profits for the People at the Top. The Humanity Archive. American history gets really messy when you take away its whitewashing and you focus on those who suffered at the hands of it. Evicted and Poverty by America by Matthew Desmond. Understand that poverty, unaffordability, barely getting by, not having healthcare are not bugs. They are features of the system to maximize profit. A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. I would start here, a comprehensive history of the United States. Find out who we truly are. The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. How law was implemented specifically to marginalize communities, reduce the economic power of women, maintain a hierarchical system that again profited those at the top, including and specifically white men. War Against the Weak by Edwin Black. Eugenics in America and the Goal to Make a Master Race. Remember that the Nazi Party borrowed Jim Crow and eugenics from America that they would later implement into their policies in World War II against the Jews. It's really important that we understand who we are and who we've always been. But that doesn't mean that the America we were taught to believe in can't exist in the future. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean we can't build it, but we have to first know who we are so that we can change who we are.
I just saw that they granted that scumbag white supremacist who shot up that children's party, who premeditatively screamed racist, scummy shit, then went back to his home, put on body armor, got his assault rifle, came back and shot up a birthday party. I just heard that he got a $5,000 bond. Now, if that's not some backwards racist bullshit, I don't know what is. Even my lily white ass can recognize that that's some two-tier justice system bullshit right there. That man could have murdered a bunch of children, and the only reason he didn't is because he was a bad fucking shot. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This seems like our federal government is trying to goad us into a civil war. But I got bad news for you motherfuckers. You're in the fucking minority. You know, black, brown people, white people who aren't pieces of shit, we're the majority, you're the minority. You know, you people are fucking idiots. And this is disgusting. And it's got to stop right now, because I swear to God, this is untenable. I think that the government is trying to create a civil war. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is not what we're about. You know, you don't like somebody, fine, but keep it to your fucking self. Mind your own fucking business. The justice system should be equal. You know, a 35-year fucking sentence for a little kid for stabbing, well, it should be the 35-year sentence for all little kids who stabbed then, you know. But it's not. It's two-tiered as hell. And it's so obvious now that it's like a slap in the face. Anybody can recognize this. It's got to stop. Have the day you wish for immigrants, because you probably are one.
Listen, I absolutely believe that the feds are involved in this, right? I believe that the media is involved in this. I believe that there's foreign entities involved into this. But yes, the United States is getting bad, man, right? The United States is getting horrible, right? That literally somebody is hanging out the door, hanging out the window unprovoked, like a drive-by shooting, right? Hanging out the door, screaming the hard ER, the N-word this, N-word that at a children's party, right? I forgot what state that it happened in, but this happened just a few days ago. And man, like unprovoked. And many things of, you know, this nature is happening across the United States. And I believe that they're trying to push the United States into a war, right? I truly believe that there's a lot of foreign entities involved, right? Listen, a lot of Americans thought that, oh, we're uninvadable, right? They can't possibly come in here and, you know, we got all of these guns and this, that, and the third. Listen, don't you think they understand that too? Don't you think they realize that too? Right? Don't you, even still, the government doesn't care about your guns. Foreign entities don't care about your guns. They know exactly how to get to you, right? And they proved that in many elections already, right? Russia proved that with Facebook, right? Many of these tech oligarchs, they don't care about selling the American people out, right? Homegrown American tech companies do not care about selling the American people out to their own government or to foreign entities. Hell, the president of the United States don't even give a damn about selling the American people out to foreign entities. And this is what's going on, man, right? And it's just unfortunate that many Americans not picking this up, right? Some people do see it, right? A lot of people actually see what's going on. A lot of people see the great divide that's going on, right? And as of late, the whole Carmelo Anthony case, and then you had the Rick Child, whatever dude name was in Carolina that shot the black kid in the back. They're literally, right? They're literally setting the stage up to divide y'all, and then they're gonna put a UFC ring, right? Well, listen, on a psychological level, I want y'all to understand what's going on. They are prepping your mind for violence. I want y'all to understand, right? They are prepping your mind for violence. UFC is one of the most violent sports, right, that we have in the US, right? And then, football, right? Violent sport, right? And then you top that off with the news, you top that off with the media. They're literally psychologically programming you, right, to practice the utmost violence against your neighbor. Y'all don't understand what's going on, man. Y'all think everything is all peaches and cream. I told y'all, Americans are violent, right? Americans are extremely violent. Americans aren't peaceful, right? Name a time period. Americans are not peaceful, and that goes for everybody. And I'm talking about everybody who's an American. I'm talking about blacks. I'm talking about whites. I'm talking about Asians. I'm talking about Latino. I'm talking about everybody who is an American. You born and raised in America. You have fallen to the American sickness, right? And they're continuously prepping your mind to practice the utmost violence. I told y'all already, right? Y'all think this is something? Wait until you see what's coming over the next few years, right? The elite's gonna have y'all ass in those UFC rings, right? They're gonna have y'all like those movies, those game movies, where it's either you live or die. You get the question wrong and you die, right? That's what it's gonna be. Right? And y'all better start prepping yourself. And this is why I went on and got myself up out of there, man. As y'all can see, man, I'm just up here chilling, making videos. I'm getting ready to start me a new life. I'm getting settled. And listen, I'm not by no means saying that anywhere else in the world is perfect, right? But it damn sure does look like I'd rather be over here than in the United States right now. Because they're going to push and push and push. And at this point, I actually do believe that a civil war could be on the horizon, right? Because if you think about it, who is the majority that's suffering, right? The majority that's suffering is the middle class, is the working class. The elites are not suffering, right? The upper class is not suffering. They're gonna take planes and bunkers and all kinds of stuff while y'all fight it out. You who's watching, while y'all fighting it out, the elites, the upper class, they're going to be in bunkers. They're going to be overseas. They're going to be in their favorite country while y'all shoot them up, bang, bang, bang. And then they'll be back and they'll hire some people or machines, right, to go ahead and scoop the bodies up, right, and throw them in mass graveyards. And hopefully they got rid of enough of y'all so they can live happily ever after, right? This is how many of them are thinking right now. Right? While y'all still think it's a game. This is the reason why. Y'all gotta understand, this is the reason why everything has gotten higher. What they're trying to do is create enough pressure, right? When the money stops flowing, when things get more expensive, when rent gets higher, right? Inflation continues to go up. The cost of your dollar continues to go down. It continues to plummet. What happens is it creates a bunch of pressure. So guess what? Now we're looking at our neighbor, right? Now we're trying to find a reason to fight one another. Now we're trying to find a reason to knock one another off, right? We're looking for reasons to fight now. Why? Because the money isn't flowing anymore, right? Listen, this even happens in relationships, right? Once money starts getting tight, right? And this is the number one cause of divorce right here: finances. It's not infidelity. Infidelity is up there, but it's not infidelity, right? It is resources, right? When money starts to get tight, everybody starts to fight. And that's exactly what's going on in the United States. Everybody's walking around with their buggy, looking in it, looking at you. You ever notice when you walk past somebody in the grocery store, they're looking at your buggy, right? You looking at them like, why you looking at my buggy? What's going on? You trying to see what I'm eating? No, it's people. They're trying to gauge if you're in the same predicament as them. Right? People are trying to gauge, okay, is he struggling? Is she struggling? Right? Sometimes y'all may look at each other, y'all give him that eye, like, yeah, buddy, it's hard around here. I barely got anything in my cart, too. People, man, I remember 10 years ago, right? I remember 10 years ago. Was it 10 years ago? Maybe 10 to 15 years ago, but definitely as a teenager, as a child growing up. Man, I remember walking around the grocery store and mofos had got dang on a whole cart full of dang on groceries. When I used to go to grocery shopping with my mom or my grandma, man, we'll have the goddamn on the buggy filled up, right? We had the buggy filled up. And no, a ninja was not on food stamps. My grandma was a registered nurse. She was a surgical nurse. Damn sure she made six figures. She couldn't afford be on no goddamn on food stamps for sure. The buggies will be filled up. And by the time we left the register, that was $200. I'm talking about filled up, right? The buggy full. Right? But nowadays, your buggy is not even a quarter, right? Not even 15% full. And you get a pack of meat, some eggs, milk, juice, vegetable. That's already $175 already. No lie. And a piece of bread, $175 already. Yeah, man. It's getting ugly around here, right? And people don't know how to process their emotions. Right? Did y'all see the video circling around with the at the end of the San Antonio game and the Knicks game? You got people fighting and all kinds of stuff. This is where we are right now, man. Right? And it's getting ridiculous. There is no restraint. People are lacking emotional, right? What's the word I'm for? Regulation. People are lacking emotional regulation. And don't you think the government knows this? Listen, there's a whole science behind breaking down the human mind. There's a whole science behind breaking down the human psychology, right? What do you think the CIA is? What do you think the FBI is? What do you think these elite groups are? How do you think Facebook was built? How do you think Instagram was built? How do you think any of these platforms were built? Facebook is literally built off of studying the psyche of the consumer, right? Even a lot of these marketing companies, they invest millions of dollars, right? Y'all think y'all ride by an Oreo sign or a Coca-Cola sign, you think, oh, it's just another Coca-Cola advertisement, right? But no, you're gonna ride past that sign about 4 or 5 times, and then before you know it, now, dang, you know what? I want a Coca-Cola, right? Oh, you know what? I want some Oreos, right? Oh, you know what? I want some KFC. Right? Or I want whatever that advertisement is saying. All they got to do is keep on showing it to you. They've invested millions and millions of dollars over 50, 60 years. They know exactly who you are. They know exactly who their consumer is. So don't you think these governments, don't you think these foreign entities who are trying to push America into civil war understand exactly who their consumer is? They know exactly who you are. They know exactly who America is. They know exactly the kind of violence that you Americans are capable of. They know exactly what's going to push you over the edge. And your American government knows this as well, right? Don't think for a second that your government is not practicing against you, because they very well are. Listen, the American government is fully taken over. I want y'all to understand that. It is fully taken over by foreign entities, right? Yes. And listen, we ain't got to talk about those foreign entities. Y'all can pretty much guess who those foreign entities are, right? And it's probably one of those guys who are now merging our military with now, right? See, this whole racial game, listen, it's just one big ass distraction, right? You're human just like I'm human, right? We're all people, really, from the same source. If you trace back human DNA, we all coming from the same source, right? All of this racial stuff and all of this stuff, listen, it's one big old distraction. Read a book, pick up a book, right? The Europeans did this. The elite Europeans, not you poor Europeans, right? The elite Europeans, right? The elite classes, right? They divided people up by race, not actually because of race, but because that was that's a big indicator to separate people and make sure you can make sure that they never come together as people, as working class. That's the reason why the elite Europeans gave, the poor Europeans the slave catcher job, right? It's one of the big reasons, right? Because once upon a time, the slaves and the poor indentured servants, which were white servants, right? The white working class, essentially, once upon a time, they were going to come together. But to prevent that, the elite white European class went on and gave the working class white people, white men, right, some status so that they would never ever think about getting together with the blacks or the Mexicans or whoever else to come against them. This was a whole ploy, right? And that same thing that has worked hundreds and hundreds of years ago is still working till this day, right? And it's so sad and it's so unfortunate because all people have to do is wake up. All people have to do is use their mind. But you know what? Like I tell y'all all the time, I don't see Americans using their minds, right? I don't think it'll ever happen, right? I don't think it'll ever happen because people are too caught up in the differences. So much so that I believe that people would rather have the differences. People would rather fight over the differences instead of coming together off of similarities. We all have we all have the same enemy, essentially, right? We all have the same enemy, but we're sitting up here fighting amongst ourselves. We sitting up here going against each other off of race, off of gender, right? Y'all think this whole gender war, y'all think that was just, something that came about out of nowhere? No, it was scientifically placed into society, right? Different factors and different circumstances were also artificially created to create this whole gender divide. The same thing with between racial groups. It's no coincidence, ladies and gentlemen, right? Y'all think that this stuff just come about naturally. This stuff isn't natural, right? Sure, human beings separate themselves, from, depending on likeness. Yes, that part is true. However, going toe to toe, like how we're going like this, no, this stuff is being artificially created, and they're going to artificially create a civil war between us, right? Well, not me. I've far removed myself. Listen, y'all can have it. I'll be back when America's a new world, if I ever be back at all, right? I mean, of course, I still got to go back for, other reasons, but by the time stuff like that happen, listen, I'm long gone, right? I'm long gone. And I seen the writing on the wall, for you travelers, for you people who do travel, make sure you go ahead and start arranging your plans because it's inevitable at this point, right? It's a ticking time bomb. They're just waiting on the right circumstance. They're just waiting on the right chance. And you have people out here who are trying to start it up themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if that dude was trying to start off a race war himself, right? There was a manifesto written, I forgot that kid name, but it was a kid that shot up that Walmart back in Texas a few years ago. And in his manifesto, he was talking about he wanted to create a race war. So listen, man, people are sick out here. They're listening to a lot of these underground people who are spewing lies, who are spewing hate. And listen, there's almost nothing that you can do about it. Some of these Fed and some of these CIA agents, they're undergrounders too. They're underground, talking to these people too, trying to start off something because they work for foreign entities. It's an ugly game, man. It's an ugly game. But anyway, listen, the after pillar is the ideology. The escape blueprint is the framework. And PFP life is how you should live, in purpose, in freedom, and in power. If you want to get out of America, if you're tired of all of this bull crap, or you need help, you want some insight, listen, come over to the Patreon and join the Inner Circle. It is for serious men and women only. Yes, we are accepting women, but listen, as long as you can accept that we are men and we talk like men, you can come on over and be a part of the movement as well. But if you need help, you want insight, you want wisdom, right? You want to join the intensity, right? If you want to also come to Cartagena with us, at the end of this year, our first networking event, we will be having in Cartagena, Colombia. Listen, come over to the Patreon, join the inner circle. You want to learn how to build some applications. You want to learn how to start your own business. Listen, come over to the Patreon, come over to the inner circle, and we will get you right. And that's all I got for you guys today. And I'll see you guys over there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. I built a life. I built a family. I worked my hands raw to get here, and I'm not done. This is the escape blueprint, PFP life, a way out of the grind and into control. You'll learn how I stack cash, build systems, and reclaim time so you can live on your own terms. You will watch me maneuver and grind towards the life that I achieve for myself, and you can also do the same. Join the circle, join the Patreon, learn the steps, and protect your freedom. The escape blueprint, PFP life.